Good afternoon to the respected chairpersons, my seniors, and all my colleagues. Today I will be presenting on allergic conjunctivitis on behalf of Dr. Raju. Coming on to the introduction, it is a pandemic ocular disorder and it infrequently causes a permanent visual loss, but the major concern is that the economic impact of the disease in terms of lost working time is very considerable. It is a very common disorder involving 30 to 40% of the population, and it has been seen that in the developing countries it is on the rise, firstly because of the poor hygiene, and secondly also because of the increasing industrialization as well as of the increasing population. So why is inflammation more common in the conjunctiva? Firstly, because of the most exposed mucosa. Secondly, because of the rich blood supply, loose tissue, as well as rich lymphatics, which we can see clearly in this diagram, showing the difference of conjunctiva as well as the cornea. Coming on to the classification, it may be either an immediate hypersensitivity reaction or a delayed hypersensitivity reaction or an autoimmune disease. Coming on to the pathogenesis, post-antigen exposure, there is activation of mast cell, which is the major culprit in all allergies. What does mast cell do? Post-antigen exposure, there is either a immediate release of histamines, which further contribute to the allergic mediators, and secondly, it also stimulates the lipoxygenase and pathway, which further increases all the inflammatory mediators, and lastly leading to vasodilation, edema, inflammation, and exudation. Coming on to the immediate humoral hypersensitivity reaction, it includes an acute allergic conjunctivitis, seasonal allergic conjunctivitis, vernal keratoconjunctivitis, and perennial allergic conjunctivitis, atopic conjunctivitis, and giant papillary conjunctivitis. Acute allergic conjunctivitis is equivalent to urticaria, which is sudden in onset, associated with copious watering, fast developing chemosis, lid swelling, cornea remains unaffected, and it usually resolves within few hours. Management is best to prevent it, and once happens, local vasoconstrictors, short-acting systemic antihistaminics, cold compresses, no local steroid should be used, and mast cell inhibitors also don't have much role. In seasonal allergic conjunctivitis, which is equivalent to hay fever, it is associated with sore throat, rhinitis, and it may include mild itching with slight OP discharges. The management includes oral non-sedative antihistaminics like levocetirizine or fexofenadine, combination of astringents, vasoconstrictors, antihistaminics, local mast cell stabilizers, topical NSAIDs. The most important thing was that no use of steroids. In perennial allergic conjunctivitis, which lingers throughout the year, the cornea is not affected, and local NSAIDs, long-acting mast cell mediators, and antihistaminics may be used. Steroid is again not indicated. Vernal keratoconjunctivitis is bilateral, which occurs in 6 to 18 years age group, and males are more affected, usually rarer than the perennial allergic conjunctivitis. It is self-limiting and associated with a positive family history with intense itching and ropey discharge. It may be either in the palpebral form, which includes cobblestone papillae or pseudotosis. Limbal form involves Horner-Tantras dots, and a combined form involving the cornea, which may have either epithelial microinvasions, shield ulcers, amoeboid ulcers, plaque over over microerosions, superficial vascularizations, subepithelial scarring, pseudogerontoxin, or keratoconus. It is important to look for and manage for shield ulcers promptly, and steroid should be avoided. Local astringents, vasoconstrictors, and antihistaminics are helpful. Frequent cold compresses, dark glasses, mast cell stabilizers, and acetylcysteine and cyclosporin may also be used. In atopic keratoconjunctivitis, which is rarer in children and usually seen after the second decade of life, it has similar features, and it has an association with keratoconus. Low-dose steroids may be helpful. Local astringents or vasoconstrictors are helpful. Antihistaminics, frequent cold compresses, and mast cell stabilizers may be used. Delayed hypersensitivity reaction includes the flecternal conjunctivitis, and usually seen in underdeveloped countries where TB, malnutrition, and poor hygiene are there. usually presents in 3 to 10 years age group. Itching is uncommon but is associated with number of flectins, associated bacterial conjunctivitis and corneal involvement. It has a self-limiting course. Cases where it is recurrent should be investigated for pulmonary and extrapulmonary TB, and it is important to note that BCG does not prevent its occurrence. A second theory is also staphylococcal allergy, so lid hygiene with systemic antibiotics may be helpful. And thirdly, interstitial helminths may also be a cause for such cases where treatment should be needed as per the scenario. So coming on to the diagnosis, most cases of conjunctivitis can be diagnosed on the basis of a good clinical history and examination. So we should take a good history, and management should be directed towards the presumptive cause, and it should also manage the coexisting dry eye and blepharitis. Medications that are used, it may be either a H1 receptor agonist like levocarbastin, which are helpful in acute allergic attacks, mast cell stabilizers, which are helpful in chronic allergies, and it usually takes 1 to 2 weeks to be effective. Both antihistaminic as well as mast cell stabilizing like olopatadine has both the short-term as well as long-acting effect. Topical NSAIDs can reduce itching. These are used for symptomatic relief, as for vasoconstrictors also for symptomatic relief. Topical steroids may be used in cases of serious cases for the initial control, and oral antihistaminics for cases associated with systemic allergic symptoms. So to conclude, in the medical management, there are antihistaminics, vasoconstrictors, mast cell stabilizers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, and corticosteroids, and lastly artificial tears for the associated dry eye. Usually surgery is not indicated, but in cases of resistant cases, cryoablation of the papillae, intralesional steroids, phototherapeutic keratectomy for shield ulcers, corneal transplantation, and lastly AMG may also be used. To conclude, diagnosis of allergic conjunctivitis is based on a sound history taking and a good clinical examination, and management should revolve around a judicious use of these medications so as to avoid any complication due to the basic pathology, and at the same time prevent it. Thank you.